Alright, I'm going to show you how to make your own Jaguar games by prepping the ROM. You'll have to program them later. I'm not sure how much of that I'll cover. But first thing you want to do is you want to get your ROM. You want to make sure it's a .ROM. If it's not, you're going to rename it. Say it's a J64. You just make a .ROM. You might have to have file extensions shown for this. Next thing you gotta do is you have to have a hex editor. Make sure it has a proper header. If you see this, all F's, that means you need a header. This is a universal header that's out there. You just copy it and paste it back in. Paste it in the top corner. It'll go red, but that's what you want. Next thing you need to do is you need to run a program called ROM split. ROM split is a DOS based program. If you can't run DOS, you're going to have to use a program called DOSBox, like I have to. So first thing you want to do for DOSBox is you have to go into your hard drive, create a folder called DOSBox. Inside that folder, put ROM split. Bring the ROM you want to split into that folder. Then you're going to open DOSBox. You need to mount the drive. So you're going to type C:/ mount C:/ to C:/ DOSBox. Now it's mounted. Now you just type C:. You are now in the folder that you have ROM split in. Type ROM split. It'll come up with a list of commands. Now ROM split is picky. It will not allow you to split a file this long. So I'm going to show you ROM split, testing, .ROM, BWE. You can see up there, B would be creating 4 files if you wanted to do in a 4-chip board. W would be for the low-high. 2 would be create files for 2 meg. 4 would be create files for a 4 meg. So I normally do 2 files, so I would be just putting the W, the 4 for a 4 meg cart. Probably doesn't matter too much. This is a 2 meg ROM, I believe. And then E, but it's going to fail because the name is too long. So you see this error attempting to open it. This is probably the reason. So rename it something shorter. So test that ROM. So now again, make sure it's a .ROM, not a .J64. Some games will not work when you program them if they are in .J64 format. they will not work in the carts. So you need to make sure you change them all to .rom. So now it's going to split the file. You'll see over here it made a high and a low. It says operation was successful. So we are now done with DOSBox. We have our files, a high and a low. So you're going to program them. You need a programmer. Mine's not plugged in, so it's going to say it didn't get a response. But if I were to open what's in the DOSBox folder, you want to come down here, select all files. You can now open the high and the low, and then you're just going to click OK with the setup it gives you. I can't program it because it's not plugged in right now. Over here it's going to give you the device you're using. I recommend an M27C160, and that's after it programs and verifies you're done, and then you do it again for the low. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the serial memory. The original memory is an IS93C4 6P. There are three other kinds that can be used. An AT93C86A or an AT93C56A or 66A. So the save portion of the game is coded into each ROM. So if you try to use a different save chip than what's coded to the ROM, it will not work. I have not had a game that I could not make splitting it this way with the proper header and using the proper save chip. I would think most people who would want to replace a chip if they needed to on a game that doesn't use the original would likely want to go with a 93C86A. That's where you should start. The other thing I'm going to point out, the U2 is where the high chip goes. The U1 is where the low goes. EPROMs have notches in them. The notches have to line up with the notches on the board. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You just split the ROM, program them, solder them. This would be the chip you would remove if you were using a game that did not require this chip and required one of the other ones for saving. You would have to remove that. Or if you had a blank board, you would just put in the proper chip. That's all.